Lesson 4.16, Association versus Causation. Yesterday we talked about scatter plots, and we talked about how the scatter plots were comparing kind of two different variables, right? Like the example in the notes was talking about the number of people and how many minutes it would take them to line up. So today we're talking about association and causation. Very briefly, the definitions for these we would say are right here. All right, so for association, we would say that there is just some kind of a relationship between the two variables, right? If things are associated, yeah, they have some kind of a relationship, right? But the difference is between association and causation. Causation says that, okay, not only is there a relationship, but one variable directly causes changes in the other variable, okay? So we really have to think about whether or not X causes Y, all right? Not just that they have a relationship, right, that they usually go together, but just that one causes the other. So let's look at some of these examples here. All right. Example number 1, your golf score and your ranking in a golf tournament. So we have two kind of different things here, right? We are comparing somebody's golf score and their ranking in the tournament. Well, positive correlation, right? If we're just describing two things, I would say positive correlation happens when one thing goes up, the other one goes up, or when one goes down, the other one goes down. So for instance, maybe the more money you make, the bigger house you have, right? As one goes up, the other goes up. Or maybe we could do the opposite. The less money you make, probably the smaller house you have, right? The size of your house goes down. That's a positive correlation. Basically, the two things you are comparing, as one grows, the other grows. Or as one decreases, the other decreases. All right, let's talk about kind of another example here. If things have a negative correlation, okay, well, they still have a relationship, but they go in opposite directions, right? When one goes up, the other goes down. So, for instance, the temperature outside and number of people wearing a jacket, right? As the temperature increases, the number of people wearing jackets would be decreasing. So they're related, and they're going in the opposite direction. So they're correlated, but that would be a negative correlation. Guys, negative doesn't mean bad. Positive doesn't mean good. It's just talking about, okay, the two variables are either doing the same thing at the same time, or they're moving in opposite directions. Okay? So keeping that in mind, let's look at this example again. Your golf score and your ranking in a golf tournament. All right, let's do kind of an example. You do kind of have to know a little bit about golf also. So the more swings you take, right, if your score is going up, you're taking more swings, that's not good, right? In golf, that's not what you want. So if your golf score is increasing, you're taking more swings, well, then your ranking in the tournament is going to go down, right? You're going to get a worse ranking the more swings you take. So do you see how they're moving in opposite directions? And there's definitely a relationship, right? Your score and your ranking in the tournament. So we're going to say that's a negative correlation, right? As one increases, the other decreases. A negative correlation. Now we can establish, all right, do they just kind of have something to do with each other, or is one actually causing the other? Right? Causal. Is one actually causing the other? Well, in this case, right, if you take more swings, that's going to cause your ranking to go down, right? The more swings you take, your ranking is going to go down. If you didn't take more swings, your ranking wouldn't go down, right? So one is causing the other. That's a causal relationship. Let's look at example 2, and I kind of already talked about this one. A person's yearly income compared to the size of their home. All right, and this is just kind of in general, right, guys? All right, if a person is making more money, right, if they're making more and more money, it's increasing. The size of their home is probably also increasing, right? We could probably safely say the more money you make, the bigger your house, right? So since we're going the same direction, up and up, that's going to be that's going to be a positive correlation, right? As one goes up, the other goes up. So one goes down, the other goes down. Now, is it an association or is it a causal relationship? Well, we kind of are saying they have something to do with each other. Now, I know you guys are probably thinking about, oh, well, my uncle makes $1 million a year and he lives in a tiny house. Do people like that exist? Of course, right? We're not saying that one causes the other, so this one is actually not causal, right? Making more money doesn't cause the size of your house to get bigger. We just kind of see in general, people who make more money have bigger houses. So there's not a causal relationship here, they're just kind of associated. All right, they just kind of have a relationship, they tend to kind of be related, right? But they're not causing one another. The final example here is talking about your height compared to the number of Twitter followers you have. Okay, well, is there a relationship there at all? Does being a certain height mean you have a certain number of Twitter followers? You guys, I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say no correlation at all. Right? There's no correlation at all between somebody's height and the number of Twitter followers they have, right? Those are two things that are seemingly unrelated. We're going to say no correlation. And if there's no correlation, we don't even need to worry about trying to describe the correlation, obviously, because it doesn't exist. All right? Biggest takeaway from today's lesson is positive correlation just means increasing and increasing, where negative correlation means as one increases and the other decreases. And finally, that a causal relationship is literally just like it sounds. One thing is causing the other to happen.